Let's cross now back to SABC News reporter Abra Barbier, who's standing outside the Cape Town City Hall. Abra, good afternoon to you again. You're continuing to speak to opposition parties in the run-up to the State of the Nation address.
Yes, I'm about to actually wrap up my conversations with opposition parties. With me, first up, I have Brett Hedden of the Good Party. You have been very vocal about the basic income grant. Is this something that you are hoping to hear the President say tonight?
Yes, I think we absolutely need clarity on the future of social security in South Africa, and we need a comprehensive social security system, and that must include a basic income grant. We've had the COVID relief of distress grant extended at 350 Rand per month. And what we really need is it to be converted into a fully fledged basic income grant. We cannot have 10 million South Africans who wake up every day unable to find jobs because the economy is not generating jobs, expected to live with zero income. So it's a constitutional right to social security to meet your basic needs, and I want to hear the President tonight commit this government to implementing a basic income grant.
Briefly, how concerned are you about Eskom, and do you think that he's going to be laying out an implementation plan?
I think that we've had a really bad start to the year. We've had endless load shedding for the last 4 or 5 months. If the President doesn't present a clear plan for the ending of load shedding, which includes the short-term interventions that government can make, the medium-term interventions which will allow us to transition to renewables, then he will fail the nation. I think the whole country is waiting to hear the President lay out a detailed plan, an implementable plan that we can believe in, and with time frames. And if he fails to do that, I think it will be a SONA that will disappoint an entire nation. So he can't avoid but deal with it.
Thank you so much for your time. Now we're going to be speaking to the PAC. Leader of the PAC, Mr. Nyonso, sir, Mr. Mzwanele Nyonso, sorry about that. You heard what your colleague of Good had to say. I know you are not normally very optimistic about these events.
But especially about this government. So we really expect nothing but rhetoric. We expect the President to tell us what we already know, that there is load shedding, that it is going to be resolved when it's not specified. People do not want stories. People do not want explanation. People, they want load shedding to end today. And we really hope the President won't declare a state of disaster because of energy. Because it would mean he must also declare the very same disaster with Denel, with PRASA, with SAA, because there is nothing going right in this country under the ANC government. In fact, as PAC leadership, we have resolved that we should declare this government as a state of disaster, because really there's no government. Everybody is disappointed. So how can I be optimistic? I can't. You are also not optimistic.
I won't say anything. Mr. Nyonso, thank you so much for your time. That was the PAC, not optimistic at all, and the only expectation he has is for the President to call the country a state of disaster. Thank you for your time, sir.
Including his own government. That government is a state of disaster.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Mr. Willie Madisha of COPE, can you please join me over here, sir? You're moving very slowly. Is the heat getting to you? Mr. Madisha, what is COPE hoping to hear, or do you have any hope tonight?
I must say that we don't have hope, because for 15 years we have listened to the State of the Nation addresses, and there's not been any movement altogether. Each and every year the President will come and say, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and the following year, when he must give the report back and say, I've done this, I've achieved this, and so on, he repeats the same thing that he has said the previous year. I must say that at the moment what we are faced with as the people of South Africa is that we are number one when it comes to the poorest countries of the world. So poverty, unemployment, and a whole lot of other things in South Africa are permeating our country. Now something has got to be done. He has said this in the past that I will do 1, 2, 3, but nothing has been done. Now instead of really going back to repeat what he has not achieved, what as COPE we are saying is that we want to see the creation of jobs, we want to see the building of houses, etc. We want to see how he's going to deal with the issue of electricity, because this is equal to us not having proper electrical power. We're having jobs and incapacity of people accessing food, water, etc., not going to school. All that is going down. We are saying that instead of the 350 rand that is given to the people, let's have more than 600 rand and above. Because you look at the inflation rate, the repo rate, etc., food has become extremely expensive. And we cannot really allow this kind of things.
But where's government going to find that extra money? Do you believe that they can find it?
Oh yes, money is there. I have said for the past 10 years in this parliament during the debates that they must reduce the number of departments that they have. Very many departments here are extremely useless. That's why, for example, as proof, you have only one Department of Communication. But before then, you had two. And then what happened? A lot of money was going out. Therefore, I must say that the money that goes, for example, to pay the ministers, their bodyguards, their cars and so on, is millions of rands. And that money could be used to improve the lives of people. I have said again that the second thing that they must do is to reduce the SOEs, state-owned enterprises. You have more than 700. And what are they doing? Okay, you'll have SABC, but then you'll have MDDA, you'll have this, you'll have that, you have SAA, and all this kind of ones. But then there are many others that are not known. How many millions go there? I mean, I see there, the Department of, in the committee that deals with communication, we see how much goes out, but then a lot does not come in. Now close the majority of those, and money can be used to make sure that the people of our country are able to survive.
Mr. Madisha of Cope, thank you so much for your time. Mr. Madisha is saying that government can find extra money to provide people with more in terms of their social grants right now. I think that's all that we have for opposition parties and their expectations, and we will catch up with them later on after the speech, where they will be giving us their reaction to the President's address.